Have you ever noticed how some people, no matter how much you care for them, keep hurting you again and again? You forgive, you hope, you try to change yourself, and yet the pain keeps returning. Many of us tolerate this because we fear conflict, we fear being alone, or we hope love alone will heal everything. But the truth is, carrying repeated hurt is like walking with a stone in your heart. It drains your energy, clouds your joy, and steals your peace. Today, we are going to explore something deeply important. How to recognize when someone keeps hurting you, why it is essential to let them go, and how this decision can transform your life. This is not about anger or revenge, it is about self-respect, clarity, and freedom. Understanding the pattern of pain is the first and most crucial step when dealing with people who consistently hurt us. We often convince ourselves that this time will be different, that perhaps with more patience or effort, things will improve. We hold on to hope, thinking that love or loyalty can change someone's behavior, and yet each repeated disappointment chips away at our peace. Pain is not always caused by deliberate cruelty. Sometimes it is neglect, miscommunication, or a person's inability to see beyond their own world. But repeated hurt, whether intentional or not, leaves an emotional scar. Recognizing the pattern is the first step toward protecting yourself. When we pay attention to recurring hurt, we start to notice triggers, the moments when the same type of pain resurfaces. The behaviors that consistently leave us feeling drained. It may be harsh words, unkept promises, indifference, or subtle forms of manipulation. These are signals that something needs to change. Ignoring them is like walking repeatedly into a thorny bush, hoping it will stop pricking you. Each encounter reinforces the discomfort and leaves you weaker emotionally. Understanding patterns of hurt is not about blaming yourself or resenting the other person. It is about clarity, about seeing reality as it is rather than as we wish it to be. People rarely change overnight, and sometimes they never change. When we hold on to hope for change, we often remain tethered to our own suffering. Acceptance of the truth, the uncomfortable truth, is the beginning of liberation. Without acknowledging the pattern, we justify harmful behavior, rationalize repeated disappointments, and compromise our own well-being. Recognizing patterns also reveals the emotional cost of staying in such relationships. Repeated hurt brings stress, anxiety, and depletion. The mind struggles to process repeated disappointment, creating a cycle where emotional exhaustion becomes the norm. Understanding the pattern is about breaking this cycle. It is about realizing that while we cannot control others' actions, we can control how long we allow those actions to affect our life. Awareness of patterns is the first act of self-respect, the first step toward reclaiming peace, and the foundation for all the choices that follow. Recognizing your worth is a turning point in the journey of letting go. Many of us remain in painful relationships because we undervalue ourselves, because we confuse tolerance with love and sacrifice with loyalty. We think enduring repeated hurt is virtuous. The truth is, every human being deserves respect, kindness, and care. Your worth is not determined by how others treat you. It is inherent, and honoring it is essential. When you recognize this, it becomes easier to let go of relationships that are harmful rather than nurturing. Imagine a precious gem buried in dirt. No matter how much the dirt clings to it, the gem does not lose its shine. Similarly, your value remains intact, even if someone continuously undervalues or hurts you. Recognizing your worth is about stopping the endless cycle of self-blame and doubt. Often, we replay past hurts in our minds, asking ourselves what we did wrong, what we could have done differently, or why the other person behaves the way they do. While reflection is natural, excessive self-questioning diminishes your confidence and clouds your judgment. Recognizing your worth means understanding that mistreatment is never a reflection of your inadequacy. It is a reflection of the other person's limitations. When you truly see your value, your interactions change. You stop tolerating subtle disrespect, silent suffering, and endless explanations for behavior that harms you. Love, respect, and care are not privileges to be earned, they are the foundation of healthy relationships. Recognizing your worth helps you distinguish between relationships that uplift and those that drain. It helps you differentiate between constructive criticism and constant negativity, between nurturing support and manipulation. Recognizing your worth strengthens your decision making. It gives you the courage to walk away, to say no without guilt, and to establish boundaries that safeguard your emotional and mental health. Imagine trying to build a house on a weak foundation. Without a solid base, the structure will crumble under stress. Your self-worth is the foundation. Without it, any relationship, no matter how seemingly well-intentioned, can collapse under repeated hurt. This is not about ego or pride, it is about self-respect. Recognizing your worth is affirming that your peace, joy, and heart are precious. It empowers you to let go not out of anger, but out of love for yourself. Every act of valuing your worth strengthens your inner voice, the voice that says, I matter. I deserve peace. I deserve love that uplifts, not diminishes. The power of boundaries is one of the most empowering tools when dealing with people who consistently hurt you. Boundaries are often misunderstood as walls, but they are not barriers to love. They are lines that protect your emotional and mental space. They are not acts of cruelty, they are acts of self-respect. Many of us grow up believing that love requires endless tolerance, that forgiveness is unconditional, and that putting others first is the ultimate virtue. While compassion is noble, it should never come at the cost of your peace, dignity, or sense of self. Boundaries allow you to engage with others without losing yourself and create a framework that prevents repeated hurt. Think of boundaries like a fence around a garden. Without a fence, anyone can trample the flowers, leaving them damaged. Setting limits protects your emotional garden, ensuring only those who nurture and respect you can enter. Boundaries can be emotional, physical, or even digital. Saying no to repeated criticism, limiting interactions with someone who disrespects you, or refusing to engage in draining conversations are all acts of setting healthy boundaries. By establishing these limits, you reclaim control over your life and emotions. People who repeatedly hurt often push against boundaries. They may react with anger, guilt, or manipulation, but your responsibility is not to manage their discomfort, it is to protect your peace. Boundaries require courage because prioritizing yourself can feel uncomfortable in a world that often values self-sacrifice. The more consistently you enforce limits, the stronger you become and the more empowered you feel. Boundaries also teach people how to treat you. When your expectations are clear, interactions become healthier, more respectful, and more conscious. They are not about controlling others, they are about taking responsibility for your well-being. Boundaries restore balance, help reclaim your energy, strengthen self-respect, and foster healthier connections. They are a silent but profound declaration. Your peace, happiness, and dignity are non-negotiable. Embracing freedom and healing is the final transformative step in letting go. Often, we carry hurt silently, believing that holding on is loyalty or love. But holding on to someone who repeatedly causes pain is carrying a burden that drains your soul. Healing begins the moment you release that burden. Untangle yourself from harmful relationships and choose your peace over repeated suffering. Freedom is not about revenge. It is about reclaiming your well-being and opening space for joy, clarity, and authentic living. Imagine walking through a storm with a backpack full of stones, each representing a betrayal, harsh word, or disappointment. Every step is heavy, exhausting, and painful. When you put down the backpack, you reclaim your ability to walk freely, breathe deeply, and move forward. Letting go of people who hurt you is exactly this act, choosing courage and self-love over attachment to pain. Healing is a journey. Memories may resurface, doubts may linger, and the mind may question your decision. These are natural stages of recovery. What matters is nurturing yourself, practicing self-care, and remembering that your peace is priceless. Letting go is only the first step. True healing transforms the act into lasting freedom. Freedom also means understanding that your happiness is your responsibility. Releasing those who hurt you is not punishment for them, it is liberation for you. Joy, confidence, and self-worth exist within you, not in someone else's behavior or approval. Embracing freedom allows you to rebuild your inner world, cultivate relationships that uplift, and create a life aligned with your values rather than your attachments. Letting go restores balance, brings clarity, and opens the door to emotional strength. Every step away from repeated hurt is an act of love for yourself, a commitment to your well-being, and a declaration that your life is meant for peace, not pain. Life is too precious to spend carrying repeated hurt. Letting go of people who consistently cause pain is not an act of cruelty, it is an act of courage, self-respect, and love for yourself. Understanding patterns of hurt brings clarity. Recognizing your worth brings courage, boundaries bring power, and embracing freedom opens the door to healing. Forgiveness does not mean holding on. You can forgive, release, and still protect your heart from repeated pain. True liberation comes when you stop seeking validation from those who cannot provide it and instead prioritize your peace. Letting go may feel uncomfortable at first, but every act of release creates space for healing, joy, and healthier relationships. Carry this reflection with you. Your peace, happiness, and heart are precious. Protect them. Let go not out of anger, but out of love for yourself. In doing so, you embrace freedom, invite healing, and open the door to a life that honors your worth and preserves your inner peace.